Carton Show, Big Mac. Great to have you here. Phone number to join, as always, 888-808-1019. Got a great show for you today. After a great sports weekend, actually, considering the fact no NFL football, no spring training baseball just yet, but I still thought it was a great sport. Well, a great Sunday. Let me say that. Why are you looking at me all cross-eyed there? That was a weird look you gave me.
First of all,
yeah.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing? Good afternoon. How are you?
Second of all,
yeah.
That was a great sports weekend.
Great sports weekend.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you.
Now, I'll tell you, Friday night stunk. Mm-hmm. Saturday stunk.
Yeah.
But Sunday was fantastic.
It was better than it's been. It's better than those Sundays have been. So great.
Well, you're just in a bad mood today?
I'm not in a bad mood.
It's okay. Come clean.
No, it was, listen.
Start the show off in a bad mood.
That's as good as a format as we've seen. It was compelling as much basketball as we've seen in the tournament or in the All-Star break. So great. It was a great Sunday.
I see what's happening here.
Great weekend.
I see what's happening here.
No, it was a great weekend.
Oh, the big fella wants baseball to start. The big fella doesn't like having life without baseball or football. Yeah. So by default, it's a lousy weekend.
Either.
Oh, there's basketball.
There's ancillary basketball. But it was well
I thought
done.
Friday stunk. I thought Saturday stunk.
Not even.
I thought Sunday was fantastic. Mm-hmm. The USA versus the world works. I thought the Daytona 500 was awesome. I have a little problem with Michael Jordan now. We'll get that, yes. In a second, not quite sure what Michael Jordan was doing.
I don't think LeBron's ever done anything like that.
Well, he was at Diddy parties. Don't act like he wasn't. We've seen the pictures. He was at some Diddy parties.
Okay.
Matter of fact, LeBron James is the guy that said, ain't no party like a Diddy party.
He did say that, yes.
So I was not even going to bring LeBron James' name up, but you had to go there. And you had, I'm not a big golf guy. My son likes golf, so saw Anthony Kim win the live event.
Yeah.
Saw the other fella, I forget his name, won for the first time in a couple years at Pebble Beach. But it's all good. I had a good time this weekend.
Good. Dunk
contest stunk. You can't have a guy with one Achilles who hasn't played a basketball game in a year win your three-point shootout. Dame Lillard, obviously over Devin Booker. But I think the goal of this weekend was to prove that we could get NBA All-Stars to give a rat's ass and to play basketball. And I give the one guy that gets the most credit for that is Wembanyama Mama. Because Wemby came out and it meant something to him and he wanted to play. I will say this, though. If you're a Clippers fan, and you watch Kawhi Leonard score 31 points in less than 12 minutes, and I know he's played very well of late, aren't you kind of saying to yourself, my man, are we going to see that the second half?
You would like to.
Kawhi Leonard was on fire.
He was on fire.
In that game. But I want to start with baseball with you today.
Really?
I want to start baseball. We're going to get to all the Jordan stuff, I promise, and touching that kid's ass and the kid's hamstring. That was just very strange. That's the only way we're ever going to talk NASCAR in this show is if Michael Jordan, touches a kid inappropriately for the world to see. But I was interested in Steve Cohen's comments earlier today down at Port St. Lucie. And the three things that stood out to me that I want to discuss with you, in no particular order, by the way. Number one, he was asked about the Dodgers, and he said, yeah, the Dodgers obviously can spend blah, blah, blah. But then he added a little line at the end there. And the little line he added at the end there was, of course, so can I. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there saying, if I'm a Met fan, then why didn't you? Right? You lost Tucker over money. You lost Diaz over money. So you had an opportunity to bring back arguably the best closer in baseball, and you lost him over $3, $4, $5 million over the course of that deal, correct?
Yeah.
I think they were at 66. I think he got 69 if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. So you lost the best closer in baseball over money, right? You lost Tucker. Now, they made a better offer short-term for Tucker than what the Dodgers did. The total value of the Tucker deal was more in L.A. So in theory, you could make an argument you lost him over money. So it's interesting to me that Steve Cohen came out and said, I could do everything the Dodgers do. If I'm a Met fan, my reaction is, then why didn't you? Let's start with that one.
Yeah, I think part of it is just to acknowledge I have a high payroll. Because I think that was just one of the things was the perception around baseball is now the Dodgers are the only ones doing this.
Right.
And he just threw that out there in one aspect just to say, by the way, if you look at it, I'm paying a lot of money.
Right. Like I think there'll be 340, 350,
right.
whatever.
It's going to be damn near $400 million, if not over $400 million, once you take the taxes into account. So he just wanted to throw it out there. And two, I think there's also a perception right now that he's upset And you mentioned Diaz. There's some thoughts. I've talked about how I felt the Mets have mishandled it. It is over money. Technically, they offered him more money, but a lot of talk on whether or not he came back to them. I think L.A. has been a destination for players as much for other reasons than it is the money.
Okay.
So I offered a lot of money to Tucker. I went out and paid a lot of money for Bichette. I had this big-time contract for Soto. I offered $300+ million for Yamamoto. I'm willing to spend the money. I'm still that guy. The Dodgers are beating us right now. It's not because I won't write the check.
Okay, so that's the first one. And Met fans, of course, want to get your take on the fact that he made the point of saying, I can sign everybody the Dodgers sign because I have the capability of doing that. Not every team does. That's number one. The second thing I took out of what Steve Cohen said is that every year that goes by under his stewardship that they don't win, he's getting angrier. So what? Like, how do you think the fans feel?
Right.
Like, the fans haven't won well before your stewardship of the franchise. And in the 5 years you've owned the New York Mets, unfortunately, haven't won with you as the owner either. So it's great that it means something to you. It's great that you're upset about it. But that kind of fell on deaf ears to me. Oh no, you're getting upset because you haven't won a World Series. Well, think about New York Met fans. Yeah. It has been a long time since the New York Mets got to celebrate with a parade down the Canyon of Heroes. So part of me says, well, I think it's great that the losses or the non-championships are starting to wear thin with him. Mm-hmm. But that didn't make him spend $500 million to change it. It just meant, I understand your frustration.
Correct.
I'm frustrated also. Mm-hmm. Now, I've heard Hal Steinbrenner say that.
Yeah.
I've heard John Mara say that. I've heard James Dolan say that. I've heard every owner in this town at some level say, fans, I'm with you. You're upset. I'm upset. Okay, great. That's a good step. What are you going to do about it?
Right. I mean, that's the question. I do think, though, to your point about falling on deaf ears, I think those other owners you mentioned, it probably, maybe not John Mara, but certainly the Yankees and the Steinbrenner family, it falls on less deaf ears than them. I think the fan base genuinely falls in line in the belief that their owner, for the most part, maybe made mistakes, whatever, but for the most part, desperately wants to win. He's one of them and given them everything they wanted, right? They wanted more Mets theme stuff, retired numbers, bring back, the old timers day, give the statue of Tom Seaver, all of that, as well as spend all the money. I think Met fans genuinely believe that it is bothering him, contrary to Yankee fans who think he is as happy as a pig and you know what?
Yeah.
Just making the playoffs, just continuing that brand, making enough money, selling out tickets, selling chicken buckets.
Yeah.
And he's perfectly happy with the way the things are, where I think Met fans, and this offseason shows it, right? He made dramatic changes to a team that didn't accomplish a goal, while the Yankees run it back.
Yep. And then the third thing that Steve Cohen said today, which I also find interesting, I think plays into a lot of the rumors from the clubhouse last year that were clearly a problem. Juan Soto kind of acknowledged today that there was clearly a problem in that locker room. We've discussed it a little bit. You're the guy rid of a lot of guys that had a certain political leaning that was different than some of the other guys. You're well documented at this point, I think. But it's interesting to me that Steve Cohen said, as long as I own the team, there will be no captain. Mm-hmm. That's a weird kind of hill to die on. And what that says to me is, because most Met fans will tell you that Francisco Lindor would be the presumptive captain based on tenure here now and as good a player as he is, right? To me, that was a shot at Francisco Lindor. I know we got rid of Pete Alonso. He would have been an obvious captain. Not so much McNeil or Nimmo, but Pete kind of represented the franchise. As a homegrown guy.
And the fans love him.
Yeah, the fans love him. All-time home run leader. Played every single game. He was the embodiment, I thought, of what a captain for the Mets would be. So the fact that Steve Cohen comes out and says, as long as I own the team, and I'm loosely paraphrasing that, there will be no captain.
Yeah, no, that's not a loose paraphrase. Yeah. He said that.
He said it, right? So to me, why wouldn't Francisco Lindor make a good captain, right? He's now your second best player next to Soto, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the answer to that is it's a message to Lindor that whatever crap was happening between your wives, between you and the guys in the locker room last year, whether it's political or religion or whatever it might be, because I know there's a lot of rumors out there, you allowed that to fester. And you allowed that to break the team apart to the point where maybe it played a role in not making the playoffs. I'm not going to reward you for that. Now, I made a decision. I let Pete Alonso go. I said goodbye to Jeff McNeil. I said goodbye to Brandon Nimmo. I kept you here, but I'm not going to anoint you captain because I didn't like what took place under your watch in that locker room. So I thought, and this is my take on it, that him saying no captains was actually a direct and veiled shot at Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, I mean, the question...
That's how I took it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think the question is, was it some sort of statement to, like, eliminate that conversation? Like, it's not that I don't think, like, to like, people might view it as we're not making Lindor the captain because of all this, so I'm just going to go out there and say I don't do captains.
So I don't embarrass Lindor.
So I don't. It's not. It's like it's almost like why? Because here's my only question about it. My only question about that statement is, as to your point, it is a very blunt. I don't believe, and he said it. If you listen to him, he said that's always been my thought. That
first we ever heard of it.
First we're ever hearing about it. Last year there was so much talk about Lindor becoming the captain. Not one word. Now I can't remember if he was ever directly asked about the captainship, but that had been such a talking point to the point where we thought it might be announced at David Wright Day. If he was this adamant about it, why wouldn't have there been a stance like David Wright is the last captain of the New York Mets because I don't believe in captains? Like it was such a strong, potent point. That's the only wonder I have. Is it honestly something he's always believed, or did he think there was such an issue in the clubhouse last year that he is afraid to give any one person power because there's a kind of a clique nature to what they've seen that it could cause a problem, if not even just Lindor, but
and there
anyone.
was a problem. Soto said there was a problem.
Yeah, Soto's like, look, we're going to move past all the BS and all the... So, like, was it such a point last year that he feels giving anyone the power of captain would only further divide the team as opposed to bring them together?
Yeah.
Or is this, because it's such a weird statement where he's been owning the team for a long time and he's been adamant about being a fan and believing in this and that and, bringing back the black jerseys, the whole bit.
Yeah.
That it's never come up that he doesn't believe in captains.
Now, to be fair,
that it comes up today for the first time ever.
The New York Mets have not had a lot of captains in their history.
Right.
The New York Mets have only had 4 captains in the entire franchise's history. Keith Hernandez was the first captain. 1987 to 1989. Gary Carter was a captain, 98 to 88 to 89.
Right.
John Franco was a captain, early 2000s. And, of course, David Wright was the last New York Mets captain. So, to be fair to Steve Cohen in this also, it's not as if the New York Mets every year have appointed a guy our captain. Pete Alonso was never a captain of the New York Mets. But I'm with you on that. I think it's a good take. I think... he doesn't want to embarrass Francisco Lindor.
Right.
He doesn't want to create a war of words. I mean, geez, we're in February, right? We don't go into a season with problems.
He wants to put an end to the debate.
So what he says is, this is not about Lindor. This is about me.
Yes.
As the owner of the Mets,
correct.
I don't believe in captains.
Yep.
Now, of course, he could change his mind tomorrow if he wanted to.
Yep.
He's the owner, and a player might come along that we all agree, man, that guy should be like Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Like the Yankees haven't always had a captain.
Right.
That guy should be a captain of the Yankees.
It puts to end the debate on whether Lindor should be the captain.
Yes.
Is he capable of being the captain? Is he creating an issue in the clubhouse? Is there determining factors where they don't get along? Soto, Lindor? Is there? Well, that ends all of it.
Right.
It has nothing to do with whether or not someone has emerged as captain. I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
So there's no point in asking further because I will never announce one.
And by the way, David Wright was captain in 2018. The New York Mets have not had a captain in 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and now 26. But this did become a Lindor issue. How is Francisco Lindor not the captain of the New York Mets? And I think part of it is what happened last year. And Soto talked about it. Even Francisco Lindor saying, I guess it was today, that I think already this is a better team today than we had last year. No, it's not. Now, it might wind up being a better team. They might wind up winning more games. But to me, that was another shot from Francisco Lindor to the guys that are no longer here. And that's McNeil, that's Nimmo, and that's Pete.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the 3 guys. Pete, most obviously, the bigger name of all 3 of them.
And the other thing the owner said, a comment he also said was, to that point about the team being better, right? Lindor kind of obviously said that. Soto kind of leaned into that a little bit. And then even the owner comes out and says, there's just something different about the vibes in this spring training. There's just something, I don't know, the energy, blah. And as soon as I heard it, and I'm not even saying he's wrong necessarily. And you never say last year was better than this year if you want to contend. But I get it. But to say you were in the NLCS this time last year, you're coming off one of the more improbable runs. You were the best team in baseball in the second half. You made it all the way to the NLCS.
Right.
You added Juan Soto to the team. Are you telling me this year, the energy, the vibes around spring, it just feels different? Like, come on.
I agree.
Last year, you didn't even have to drive to the ballpark.
They were the hot girls of prom last year.
You were walking on air
right.
on the way to spring training last year. So the idea that, like, all of a sudden, the vibes are much different. They are clearly trying to make a point that last year was an issue.
Yes.
No captains, don't ask me about it. The vibe and everything is much different. They are definitely trying to say the issues of last year's 83 wins wasn't how we operate. It's not because of how we do business. It's not because of the money I spent, because I spend almost as much as the Dodgers. It's nothing to do with anything other than we had some issues in the room that needed dramatic change. We've done it, and we're going to be better off for it. Now, all of that doesn't mean that they're wrong. They may very well be right.
Yeah.
They may be right that last year was a problem, that the room was a problem, and that all their changes end up being a major benefit of the team. That's a plausible scenario, but that's the story they're selling a couple of days into spring training.
We got lots to do today. 888-808-1019. That's the phone number to join, Met fans. Love to hear from you. We will get to the All-Star stuff. I promise you that. And all the basketball from the weekend. We'll get to the Michael Jordan thing. People are now it's funny. Like, there's like a pre-Epstein and post-Epstein world that we're kind of living in, sadly. And, if this was, pre-Epstein, I think people look at what Michael Jordan did with, I think it was the driver's son. All right. Reddick is the guy that won the race, the Daytona 500. It's also the biggest race of the year in NASCAR. And Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. I think if that happened pre-Epstein, we write it off as he knows the driver's son. They have a relationship. Someone poured ice down the kid's back. The kid's trying to shake it out.
Messing with him.
Michael's kind of goosing him a little bit.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest. In a post-Epstein world, it just looks icky.
No. Not only a post-Epstein world, an Epstein world where it's a topic of conversation on almost everywhere you turn.
And look, it's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But because it's Michael Jordan, he gets more attention, obviously.
Of course.
And I've now seen a lot of different excuses for what it was. I've seen a lot of people obviously accost him for what it looks like it was. But there's nothing good about the image of a 60-year-old man goosing a 10-year-old boy on the ass and then scratching his hamstrings.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look good. And by the way,
no, it doesn't.
Michael's got kids that kid's age, his second wife. It just, I'll be honest, I'm the biggest Jordan guy in the world. It made me feel weird.
It does.
I watched that going to myself, like one goose, I get it. Maybe there was an ice cube still down the kid's shirt.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. The second goose, all right, okay, fine. A quick little pop.
Yeah.
But then the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and the eighth. Seven too many for me.
Well,
and then I'm not sure what he's doing on the back of the kid's like hammy.
Yeah.
Was he scratching him? Was he trying to help him with the water?
No.
Was he tickling him?
Yes.
Yeah.
My guess is,
It's just weird.
watching the video and trying to be fair to the 7-8 gooses, and then the kid never gave him the attention. He was
turned around, though.
He was trying to get the kid's attention eventually after all of that.
Yeah.
If he would have turned around after one goose, there probably isn't 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right.
But the kid was not reacting to it. I think he was trying to get the kid's attention.
Right.
He was messing with him, and he wasn't getting come on, leave me alone. When you try and mess with the kid, he didn't get
I'm telling you, post Epstein,
weird. No,
it's strange.
It's not a great video from Mike.
It's very, 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 very strange.
Yeah.
We got Kevin Durant's burner account. We'll get to that. We actually have what I think is a really sad story involving Tom Seaver's family and a decision they made over the weekend, which I don't quite understand. I'll give it to you coming up after the break. But Tom Seaver's family decided to do something with some of his memorabilia that seems like there's something that just seems weird to me that they would do what they decided to do. And we got much more. So, the phone number is 888-808-1019. Here's Johnny and Wanto on the fan. Johnny, how are you?
Hey, Craig, C-Mac, how you doing? We missed you on the overnight, C-Mac.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, John. But you got me now.
Hey, listen, Craig.
Yeah.
Before I get to my point, you know you're working with a living legend right now, right?
I did not know that, but it's good to know. Why is he a living legend?
No, listen. 32 years I'm listening to WFAN. He's the only guy yet not to be replaced.
He's the only guy in fan history not to be replaced?
Yeah, name me the overnight host, permanent.
Huh.
They thought I did such a wonderful job with it. They said we can't even bother replacing it.
Oh, I got you. Now I get it.
My job has not been replaced.
Your job, nobody's replaced you as the full-time overnight guy.
Yes.
Because how do you replace the guy? Yeah, there you go. That's a very good point.
Francesa got replaced, not me.
Yes, we've all been replaced. I think I'm the only guy that was replaced twice.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
On this Michael Jordan thing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a guy who, C-Mac knows this, I'm a military guy, I'm a combat vet, so I suffer from a lot of PTSD.
Sure.
Now, Michael Jordan, I'm just coming to you from my standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
If it was such a terrible thing, now, if that was me, I'd have turned around and punched him right in his face.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't think it was meant that way, and it certainly was not taken that way. And I appreciate your call, like Big Mac made the point. The kid's not even bothered by it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he knows Jordan's right behind him at that point. He probably does. We don't see what happens prior to that, but they obviously walked up on the podium together. And I do think that was Reddick's son. I believe that's the storyline there.
Right, yeah.
It just, look, I'm not accusing Michael Jordan of anything untoward because I don't believe he's that guy. And I'm sure he's just goosing a kid he knows. Mm-hmm. Like he's probably been to his home before.
With him, yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. It just looked weird. That's all.
There's no doubting that.
Yeah.
It looked weird.
Now, maybe the kid's got a couple ice cubes on his shirt.
Yeah.
And Michael's trying to melt them. Or you're trying to make the kid get cold.
Yeah. Or
like we do that to our kids.
Fall out of his shirt or something.
Like if you put ice down your kid's shirt at any point in their lives.
Not yet, no.
You haven't done that yet?
I have not, no.
Like I do to my kids. My kids have done it to me.
Around, put an ice cube in the back.
You sit at dinner, you come behind a quick ice cube.
Yeah.
The kid had...
Touch with cold hands,
well, that's weird.
Why?
What do you mean you touch your kids with cold hands?
You were in the freezer or something, you just took out meat or whatever, and you had cold hands, you put it on their back.
Got it. Yeah. You sure you're all right over there?
Yes.
Because I know you're in a bad mood.
I'm not in a bad mood.
No, you came in hot.
You came in waxing poetic about what a great weekend it was.
It was a great Sunday.
It was kind of a done.
If you're a golf fan, you had a great ending at Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
Not for me, but I respect golf fans. If you're a Daytona guy, right, I like NASCAR. Mm-hmm. You had a great ending. 2 major accidents on the final lap, and Reddick steals the Daytona 500. Mm-hmm. And if you're a basketball fan, we had a suck-up Friday. We had a suck-up Ludacris and his microphone not working, which actually was a benefit. And then we had a suck-up the worst national anthem I've heard since Carl Lewis did it. Brandy destroyed the national anthem in a negative manner, which really pissed me off because that's my favorite song of all time.
Yeah.
All right?
I'm surprised that's not making the rounds. I got to the game late.
It's not making the rounds because there was something that was worse than that.
Oh, okay.
But if I bring it up, I get attacked and it becomes a political thing. And it's just, it's the mascot of the NBA was making a political statement during the All-Star game, and the NBA allowed it. And it's bothersome to me, but if I get into it on the show today, I know the result of that. I got 30% of the people that think I'm the greatest guy in the world. I got 60% of the people that think I should die today, and 10% are like, what are you talking about? So I'm not going to go into it. I already did it this morning.
Okay.
It's online. I'm getting abused for it, but I stand by it. And that's why no one's talking about the brutal national anthem that Brandy did, because there was someone out there that did something dumber and worse. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
All right? That way we don't get into politics on this show.
That's fine by me.
I try to avoid politics and gun control on this show. That's it.
Well, they go together, no?
Oh, they do go together. That's right. So we'll get all your calls. Met fans, the owner has spoken. You're not going to hear from him again until something goes really, really bad or something goes really, really good.
Yeah.
So we'll get your reactions to that. Obviously, reactions to All-Star Weekend and much, much more. 888-808-1019. Plus, we have to say this. I know we've given you a lot to start the show with, but one of your favorite and my favorite actors has passed away. Robert Duvall, the consigliere, has passed away. I think he was 95 years old.
Yeah.
Robert Duvall passed away.
Sad.
And you asked me an interesting question before the show. Mm-hmm. And I've given it some thought. I'll give you an answer after the break. But for the audience's sake,
as well. Yeah.
Outside of Godfather, do you have a favorite Robert Duvall role?
Role or movie?
Well, same thing.
Overall.
Same thing. Movie.
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Go movie. It's easier to say movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I said because you can't say Godfather because that's
outside of Godfather.
Right.
do you have a Robert Duvall movie that you would say is his next best movie?
Yeah.
And I've got 3. I got to pick one of the 3. So I'll do that during the break. I'll give you my answer after the break. Do you have one or no?
I do. I think, just as you said it right there, and I'm thinking
one
about it.
came to mind right away.
One came to mind, yep.
Comedy?
No.
Drama?
Although I laugh at it sometimes. Yeah, drama.
Drama. All right.
And
Go ahead.
relevant to a topic we discussed in the open.
Relevant to a topic we discussed in the open.
Yes.
It's not the movie where he's a baseball scout, is it?
Nope.
With the kid?
Is he a baseball scout?
Yeah. No, that's Clint Eastwood. My
yes.
bad. I take that back.
That's Trouble with the Curve, and it's Clint Eastwood.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, 0 for 1.
I can't wait till we get.
I might name 5 or 6.
I can't wait till we get. Oh, my favorite Robert Duvall movie.
I confused Robert Duvall and Clint Eastwood.
Oh no, that's Robert Redford. I'm sorry. I'll have another one after the break.
Ooh.
The two of them in the same movie. Yeah.
They were in a baseball movie together.
Were, yeah.
All right, we're going to talk stuff. He was the cartoonist in The Natural, was he not?
He was the reporter cartoonist.
Yeah, that's not the one you're going with, is it?
No.
Okay, so put The Natural to the side.
Yep.
No Natural.
No Natural.
Okay. No Trouble with the Curve.
No Trouble
because he wasn't in that.
Correct, because he wasn't in it.
Just checking. We'll get all your calls. I know a lot of you are off today as we have President's Day, and hopefully you're enjoying your 3-day weekend. We come to work because that's what we do. Right. Your call's coming up right after this.